Hey guys, welcome to a new video. Today's video we're going to be talking about how much will it cost to start a print-on-demand store on Shopify. Now, as you guys may or may not know, I've spoken about this before. If you're new to the channel, welcome. But I've spoken about creating the power of creating a print-on-demand store as a website. Now, we've talked about Shopify here a lot. We've talked about a lot of different things, so we're going to break down the cost for Shopify. Now, I don't want anybody to sit here at the end of this video, whether it's a little or a lot. I don't want you guys to think that Shopify is the only option. There are other options where you can build a print-on-demand store, and we will go over those things. So I don't want you guys to freak out or worry about it. And the reason why I say that is because there's going to be enough options for everybody here, okay? And there's going to be a certain I guess you could say similarity type of approach between all of the different platforms that we will discuss now and we'll discuss into the future. But today, let's talk about Shopify. So everybody knows Shopify is a website that immediately, just to join, you have to pay $29, okay? So this $29 is a monthly cost. Now, I want to be clear with this $29. It is not this is where it starts. It's basically, this is the minimum, okay? And they have different plans, but for somebody who's brand new, who just started, trust me, there's no reason why you need to spend extra money on the larger plans, okay? As you get bigger, as you cross certain thresholds into making money online, then you're going to want to go for the bigger plans. But for the beginner, everybody's going to go with the basic plan, the $29 plan. Now, with the $29 plan, you are going to be charged tax. Now, it depends on where you live. Obviously, the taxes differs, and the cost differs, but tax is part of the equation. Some people, by the end of the month, it might come out to like roughly $32. All right. So, in order for you to have a Shopify store, and this is something I want to be clear, is when you click the link in the description to start one, you're going to have a 14-day free trial. You guys can click on it, sign up, just snoop around. You don't have to actually build anything. You don't have to take it seriously for the first 2 weeks. My link will always be up. You guys can grab the free trial whenever you want to. Okay, the thing that you want to understand about Shopify, and this is a little shisty in my opinion, but Shopify, along with other platforms, is once the free trial is over, you can't access your website. Okay, so the thing I want to make clear is either you have to plan to get all the work done before the 14 days, which is kind of like impossible, or you can just keep in mind that you're probably going to have to end up paying money just to even start your store, okay? So that's one thing. Well, that's subscription. Now let's move into domain name. So your website name is going to be essentially your identity. When people say, "Oh, where'd you get that, shirt?" People are going to be like, "I got this from, thecoolesttshirts.com or, whatever website it is." Your domain name has to pair with your identity. Now, I want to tell you guys a little quick story. Is when I started my very first business, believe it or not, I spelled the domain name wrong. And, I mean, there's no excuse for it. But guess what? I still made money on that website. The reason why I even say this story is because it's not the end of the world when you make a mistake on your domain name. But try to understand that your domain name is your identity. It's going to become harder down the road to kind of switch things. So keep your domain name. Make sure you pay attention to what your domain name is. But for the cost, you're really looking at $14 and up most of the time, okay? Sometimes it's $40, sometimes it's $50, sometimes it's $60, sometimes it's $14, sometimes it's $20. Just depends on what the domain name actually is. So for the domain name, okay, and I'm sorry for the handwriting here, but the domain name is, you're looking at $14 roughly, okay? It could be the next year after that for renewal, might be $40, $50, etc., okay? But it starts off $14. So next thing, what you're going to have to realize is that what you're going to need is a website theme, okay, your Shopify theme. Now, there's a lot of discussions about Shopify themes. I could tell you on every store that I have, okay, which is 4 of them, 4 successful stores currently. And I've sold a few, by the way, so I would have had more. But maybe people don't know this, but a lot of my story was after I sold the clothing company, guys, which was an e-commerce store. What I did was, and this was not print on demand, it was white label. I would talk to a manufacturer overseas. We would, kind of, I guess you could say, alter certain things on it, the stitching, the colors, the length of certain things. Basically, full on white label. Get the products from overseas here to the USA, then ship them out of a small warehouse that I rented. This was after I had, essentially out of the bedroom. Okay, now regardless, you're going to have. Okay, let me preface this way. When you start a store, you're going to have the ability to utilize a free Shopify theme. And I want to explain something to you. That if you're going to be using the free Shopify theme, that's not a problem. But what you're going to realize is you're going to be spending a heavy amount later down the road on applications. And this is where applications come in, okay? Generally, the reason why we use premium Shopify themes is because with premium Shopify themes, they help us cut down on cost on apps. To the point where some Shopify themes, we don't even have to worry about cost of apps at all. Now, what is the cost of apps? An application will be a feature on the website that you can use that will cost you a monthly fee. And sometimes those apps can be $30, $50, $60, $100 a month. In accumulation, on average, the average successful Shopify store will be paying $300 a month in applications. Now, this is the average. I'm not saying that there are some stores that don't pay, some. I can tell you this, my personal stores, I don't pay a single dime in applications. The reason why is because I pay for the themes up front. That's just what I do. But $300 a month versus the cost of the application, the theme. Now, with the theme, I want you guys to realize these. By the way, guys, these features that people use, they're very important features within the theme that improve your conversion rate. This is another word we're going to talk about in a minute. But with the conversion rate, we'll talk about that in just a minute. But I want you to write that down on a piece of paper, conversion rate, and we'll talk about it in a minute. But with your theme, themes can range in price. The low amount, you're looking at roughly $100 for a theme is the low amount. And somewhere in the high range, you're looking at about $700. I will tell you that majority of the companies are increasing their prices for themes in the past, let's say, a year and a half. We've seen this happen with a bunch of different companies. I'm not going to list, but somewhere around there, from $100 to $700, you can get a theme. Now, something that I do want to say is just because the theme costs more money does not mean it's a better theme. This is another fallacy that a lot of beginners get into, thinking that if they pay more for a theme, they're all of a sudden going to have more success. This is a fallacy. It is not true. It is a falsehood. There are different themes that offer different options and different styles and different things, okay? The more features your theme has, the less you're going to have to pay for apps, if any apps, okay? Something that I would also say is I really, really do recommend that you do not pay for applications prior to getting your first sale, because you need to understand what it will take to get your first sale. That's something you're going to need to understand. And I don't want you to do it with the help of added costs, because I want you to build a store for the long term, for the more profitable road. And when I say, guys, I want you to do this, I'm not commanding you guys. I'm just giving you guys suggestions, the brotherly advice that I would give, as if I'm your brother, There are females watching this, there are males watching this, brothers, sisters, everybody who's watching this, guys, you guys are family to me. So when I'm telling you this advice, I'm telling you from personal experience. I'm not telling you this from stuff that I read in a book. I'm telling you from personal experience. I'll just give you an example. When I was 19 years old, I sold a Shopify store. It was a bikini store. And I sold the bikini store, and there was a woman who bought it from me. And I'll tell you a story about this. And the store was for $60,000. And when I sold the store was called Better Kini. The unfortunate reality is when the woman bought the store, she took a loan to buy it, which I don't know what she was doing. She was an absolute beginner. She had no idea what she was doing. And she was convinced that the way the store was, it needed applications. So what she did was she started running up the bill. This is after we signed the contract. And when we signed the contract, I didn't get $60,000 cash. She agreed that she would be paying me off the profits of the store. So I said, you know what? I'll help this lady out. It's not a problem. I'm not in a rush for the income. I'll go ahead and sign the agreement, and I'll help her through the process. Little did I know, she had never run a successful store in her life. And what she had done was, unfortunately, she started running up the bills with Shopify apps. She had no idea how Shopify worked. And what she did was, she had accumulated over $700 in a month worth of apps. She didn't know that after you install the app and you don't want it, you have to delete it. She did not know that. So she just kept installing apps, $700 a month in apps. Then she came to me arguing that I was supposed to tell her that that's not the case, but I didn't even have a login to the store. After significant amount of argument and explanation, I agreed to help her through the marketing process. I said, okay, listen, you're going to buy the store from me. I want you to succeed. I want you to do well. So this is what I'm going to help you do. I told her, we're going to run the ads. The money is going to come out of your pocket, but I'm going to do the ads for you. Now, mind you, the ads that I have created, this store was only running for about 3 months, and it was making successful money. It was making about $5-6 grand a month. So I said, quick cash, 60 grand, no big deal, right? I ran the ads for her, and we had the agreement that she would set up the very specific apps that I told her for the store that she had. What happened was, when I ran the ad, she failed to set up the apps properly. And the ad was, and I'll just go ahead and tell you, it was buy 2 bikinis, get 1 free. That was the concept of the ad. The ad was so good that we drove so much traffic that there were people who bought the bikinis anyway, hoping that they would get a free bikini. But you know what happened was, she did not set up the apps in a proper way to let the orders come through. So what happened was, when people were adding certain bikinis to their website, to their cart, they started abandoning the website because they saw there was no option on how to actually get that free bikini. And she missed out on thousands. We're talking literally $16,000 worth of orders that day that I had ran the ad. And you know how much the ad was cost? $270. $270 ad. She lost thousands of dollars on it. What I'm trying to tell you guys is that before you start investing money in things that you might not be 100% comfortable doing, before you start doing that, become a master at the craft. Okay? And the most I would tell you to ever invest is in a theme and the monthly price and the domain name. That's it. Because you need to understand 2 main concepts. And this is my opinion. My brotherly advice, like I said. My opinion is the 2 things you would need to understand the most is the art of the conversion rate and the art of traffic generation. And they go hand in hand. And I'll explain why. When you're generating traffic to your Shopify store, there are different levels of quality. And I'll explain what I mean. If I tell a bunch of my friends, hey, go to my website, it's blah, blah, blah.com. They're going to go to my website. That's considered traffic, right? But they don't have a buyer intent. They're just curious to see how the website looks. They want to see, man, how did this kid build a website? Let's see how this kid built a website. Let's see how it looks. Does it look like a piece of crap or does it look good? Right? They're going to go on my website. They're going to be curious. They're going to say, oh, great job. It looks great. And then what are they going to do? They're going to log off. They have no buyer intent. So that's an example of low quality traffic, right? Now, what you need to do, guys, is you need to understand how to develop and build the best quality traffic. Now, we're going to get into that in future videos, but the first part of that is understanding that your biggest ally, your biggest asset in the game is going to be Google. When people search things on Google, you want your website to appear. Every single business that I have currently relies on Google. Most of the money that I make is from blogs, and the blogs filter traffic into stores, and the stores make money, okay? Now, that's traffic. There's different qualities, like I said. There is high buyer intent when somebody's searching for something, and they buy it. So, for example, if a girl searches for pink monokini small, right, size small, she searches for this, and my product comes up, and she clicks on it, and she buys it. There's a high likelihood that she's going to buy it because she's looking for that specific product. Unless there's something that sticks out about the monokini or bikini, whatever, that she doesn't like. But that's different, right? Now, let's talk about conversion rates. The higher the quality of your traffic, this is a golden rule, the higher the quality of the traffic, the higher the conversion rate. Now, what is a conversion rate? A conversion rate is a percentage of the traffic that ends up purchasing the product. So, let's say you have 100 visitors to your website, okay? Let's say you run an ad, you have a blog, whatever the case may be, you send 100 visitors to your website. Out of the 100, let's just say one person buys a product, right? Or has an order, it doesn't matter how many products they buy, but let's just say one order goes through from one person. Then your conversion rate by default is 1%, right? Because it's 1 out of 100. If, let's say, out of the 100 people that come visit your website, 40 people buy a product, that's a 40% conversion rate, okay? Now, the highest conversion rate that I've ever had in a business in my life, and I'm not BSing you guys when I say this, was 33%. That's not BS. That's not a joke. That same business today is not running. But last year, it was at around something like 24%. Or no, 16%. Sorry. The few years before that, it was at 24, and it kind of slowly dwindled down. The reason why it stopped running is because the product that I was selling, no longer am I selling it. Okay. Now that's a different story for a different time because, things get updated. It's a different I'm not even gonna get into that. But regardless, I've shown publicly on YouTube a store that I have at 16.5% conversion rate. I've shown this publicly. This was different than the 33%, 16% conversion rate. The reason why I do this is because I try to maintain as high conversion rates as possible. The reason why I do this is because I want to explain something, okay? You're going to see a lot of gurus on YouTube with low conversion rates, but making thousands and thousands of dollars. But I want to, kind of change something here, change an approach. There's a YouTuber out there, I don't want to say his name, but he does very well with Shopify. He's successful, right? Let's say I saw a video. He made roughly like 100 grand, 150 grand, right? And that 100 grand came from, and by the way, short story to the ending of the bikini store, I never ended up getting paid. She had to file bankruptcy. So essentially, I had to rebuild the store, but that's not the point. The point is 100K, right? He made, or 150K, with a 0.1% conversion rate, okay? 0.1%. If he had a 1% conversion rate, how much would he make out of that 100,000? What would that 100,000 turn to? It would turn to 1 million. If he had a 10% conversion rate, which is relatively unrealistic for majority of people watching, and majority of people on the internet, period, right? 10% conversion rate, it would have been 10 million. So with the same level of traffic, right? The same traffic, you're not changing the traffic, just a better conversion rate. The money goes from $100,000 to $10 million. Now, let's assume 10 is, way too high. But let's just say 3% traffic, right? What would have been? $3 million. $3 million he would have made off that one store. So, guys, is it possible? It's absolutely possible. The theme and the way you configure your copy means the written word of your website, the things that make people buy, controls the conversion rate. The theme, the professionalism behind the website also controls the conversion rate. There are a lot of elements that control the conversion rates. These are elements that are crucially important. The copy of your ad, the creative of your ad also controls the conversion rate. Now, we're not asking for anything ridiculous, 15, 16% conversion rates. I'm not saying anything like that ridiculous, but let's shoot for something like 5% conversion rate. Why not? Over the years, guys, since the year 2006 to now, conversion rates have been dropping consistently. Back in 2012, the average conversion rate on the internet was about 4.5%. Now, it's dropped to less than 1%. The reason why is because websites have become normal, typical. Anybody could build one. And so when there's so many of these websites that are present to people, there becomes less and less, I guess you could say, a deep desire or a deep need for something. So The key to this, guys, and how to get these high conversion rates to multiply your income is to build a website that is exceptional. Build a website that is above average. And when I say build a website, I mean not only from the design, but the words that you use, the graphics that you use. Everything has to be on point, okay? And from there, coming up with an ultimate marketing strategy to really, really develop a deep connection with the buyer and allow that buyer to fully enjoy your product and trust in you by being open and honest about the product and letting them buy the product at a high level. And that will increase your income dramatically. But everything that I'm saying is going to be a bunch of principles that you're going to have to want to understand, right? I'll just say, I'll talk about the nuances. There are little aspects to everything. So the copy of your website, the words that you use, that's going to have its own learning curve. That's going to take its own time for you to get better at that aspect, okay? The design process, it's going to take you time to get better at that aspect as well. All these different things. We're going to be here to support you through that. But these are the things you want to understand. Now, I do want to say something. Shopify over time has developed a identity or a reputation that it is get rich quick, meaning you can just hop onto Shopify, make money quick, life will be good. I can't tell you that that's farthest from the truth, and I want to explain to you that over 90% of sellers close their store within 3 months. Over 90%. I think the statistic is something like 98% within 3 months. 94% within 2, and 91% within first month. The reason why that is because these people are expecting to get rich quick. You're going to have to be sitting on some decent money. So we said $29 a month, or let's just say $33 for the taxes. $33 plus the $14, okay? Which, let's just go ahead and whip out the calculator. You guys know I'm a math guy. Let's go ahead and whip that out. Okay. Calendar. Why would I open up the calendar? Calculator. Okay, calculator. And let's just go ahead and do 14 plus the 33, okay? Plus let's just say the Shopify theme, we said on average from 100 to 700, let's just say 350, okay? That's $350. So for the first month, you're going to need $397 roughly, okay? We're not going to be paying for apps, right? We're just going to be developing. Now, the next few months after that, you got your $29. So let's do 29 times 11, okay? $319. Let's add $30 to that for the taxes. So you're looking at $349 plus let's just call it let's just call it 400 of earlier. You're going to need $749 in the beginning to not only pay for the whole entire year's worth of Shopify, but also for your theme and for your domain name. Now, am I telling you to pay for the whole Shopify payment up front? Absolutely not. I'm not telling you to do that at all, but I'm telling you how much to expect for the cost of the Shopify store for the first year. Now, is it practical that you can make your profit back from a $749 investment in the course of a year? Absolutely it is. It's absolutely possible. It's completely possible. There are ways to do it. We'll get into it. We'll get into building it. We're going to do things together, guys. We're going to build a store together. You guys will see the whole process, all right? I'll talk to you guys later. And we're actually going to build multiple stores at that because I think it's important to present multiple examples, all right? I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you guys for watching. Peace out. Bye.